From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. Tennessee has an open U.S. Senate seat next year. Longtime Republican Senator Lamar Alexander is retiring. The first GOP candidate in the 2020 primary race to take Senator Alexander's place is Nashville trauma surgeon Dr. Manny Sethi. Dr. Sethi is our guest on Inside Politics. Doctor, welcome to the program.
Well, Pat, thank you so much for having me.
So why are you running for the U.S. Senate?
Well, Pat, you know, I am what I call a product of the American dream in Tennessee. My parents were immigrants, came from poverty in India, came to the United States in the 70s. And I was born in Cleveland, but came to rural Tennessee when I was 4 years old, to Hillsborough, Tennessee, rural Coffee County, and grew up in next to a cornfield. My parents were both doctors, and you know, that town didn't have a lot. In fact, 90% of the folks lived below the federal poverty line. But yet, you know, they didn't have a lot, but they had each other, and they helped to raise me and my brother, and I have lived all of these incredible opportunities, and Tennessee has given me so much. And you know, I've given back as a trauma surgeon at Vanderbilt. We created a nonprofit called Healthy Tennessee, and we've taken care of thousands of patients across the state. And I've given back, but now with this open U.S. Senate seat, I think it's a generational opportunity to make a difference, a different kind of difference, and that's why I want to run.
You spent your entire professional career in medicine.
I have.
Now you're going into politics. Are those things similar, or aren't they very different?
Oh, I think they're very different. You know, look, I come from 3 generations of physicians. And you know, my dad, I remember, he always used to tell me, you know, it doesn't matter what's in your bank account. What matters is the difference that you make. And you know, that's why I'm doing this. When I wake up every morning, I think about what is the impact that I can have on the world. And I think, you know, politics and medicine are similar in that way, because you can have a significant impact as a U.S. Senator. And that's why I want to do it, because I think that it's time for these career politicians who have forgotten so many people along the way in Tennessee, the people that I grew up with. People need to hear their voices, Pat, and that's why I'm doing it.
You co-authored a book with former Tennessee Senator Bill Frist, who was also a majority leader while he was in Washington. He is also a doctor and a surgeon, as you have been. Did you consult with Dr. Frist about running, and what advice did you get from him?
Well, you know, I've known Senator Frist since I was a little boy, and I worked for him when I was 18 years old. And he definitely had a significant impact on me as someone who was a surgeon in the United States Senate who made a difference. And along the way, we've kept in touch. I owe a lot of my success in life to Senator Frist, and we talked about it. And he encouraged me to run. But also, you know, he also has other friends in the race. So,
did you ask him for his endorsement?
You know, I don't.
He's not been active in politics, at least in Tennessee politics, like that since he left office. He's been active in some national, international things, particularly in the healthcare area.
Well, he's a lifetime mentor of mine, and so I just, you know, I'll lean on him for advice, lean on him for direction of, you know, how he did it, and I think that's enough for me.
What about Senator Alexander? Are you going to seek an endorsement from him, or is he maybe a little bit like Senator Frist, a little bit too much of the political insider you're trying to run against or away from?
Well, Senator Alexander has been very kind to me. You know, he invited me to testify before the U.S. Senate last year to the Help Committee, and I spoke with him. He encouraged me to run, and that's good enough for me.
You say you want to go to Washington to take on the establishment and be a conservative outsider. What does that mean?
Well, I think it means just that I think that Washington, D.C. and the United States Senate is entrenched with career politicians who are all talk and no action. And I think what we need is someone who's conservative, who comes from the private sector, who has a life of dedicated service that needs to be less talk, more action. And that's what I think Tennessee needs, a conservative outsider.
But if you take on the establishment in Washington and you go to the U.S. Senate, the establishment in the Senate is Mitch McConnell, who is the leader of the Republicans in the Senate. He certainly has been a career politician. Are you running against Mitch McConnell? That doesn't make sense.
Right now, I'm running for the people of Tennessee. Again, I think that people in our state, my patients, the thousands of people that I've seen across Tennessee over 10 years, they're ready for something different. Look, people are sick and tired of these folks who go up there and say one thing and do the other. And frankly, I've had it too. And so it's just time.
Chris Devaney is your campaign manager. He ran Bill Lee's successful race for governor last year. He also ran, Governor Lee did, as a political outsider. Is that now an advantage for a newcomer? Voters don't want somebody who's got experience in politics? That's a bad thing?
You know, I don't know. All I can tell you is this, is that as I've traveled the state for the last 7 months talking to folks about this, they feel, Pat, very disconnected from our government, that their voice doesn't matter. And I just think that people are to the point in our country where they want change. They want meaningful change. They want people who are going to go up there and fight for them and come back down here and hear their constituency, and not, again, this, you know, more talk, less action.
Governor Bill Haslam is talking about running, former governor. He has not made up his mind yet. He certainly has a significant career in politics, both on the state level, 8 years as governor, and also 8 years as the mayor of Knoxville. Is he too much of an insider? Why would you be a better senator than he would be?
Look, I think Governor Haslam is a great person, and he's had 15, 16 years of service, as you mentioned, and deserves the time and space to make his decision. But here's the thing. As I told you, I have never run for political office. I have not even run for student council. And so I will treat this like I treat trauma surgery. And in trauma surgery, you don't deal with hypotheticals. You deal with what is right in front of you. But no matter what, I think Tennesseans, again, will be faced with this choice. Do you want someone who has been entrenched in government, or do you want a conservative outsider and who believes in people? And it's as simple as that.
Another thing you're saying is you want to go to Washington to support President Trump. Governor Haslam in 2016 was one of those who actually asked Donald Trump to get off the ticket when there were problems about the video that came out with him saying some things that he said were locker room talk later. Do you think that's going to be something that will help you in your race if Governor Haslam's in there, because he's perhaps not as strong a supporter of President Trump as you are, and President Trump has been very strong in this state?
Look, all I know is, you know, that President Trump, we have the strongest economy we've had in decades. We have conservative judges. We're deregulating. I think he's an incredible president. You know, personally, he's invited me to the White House. I've spent time with him. He wanted to learn about what we did at Healthy Tennessee. I've spoken at one of his rallies, and I think he's a great president.
Dr. Manny Sethi is our guest. He's the first Republican to get into the U.S. Senate race to replace Lamar Alexander next year in 2020. Back to continue our conversation after this break.